Tensions soar between Washington and Caracas. Venezuela says suspects in a failed US embassy attack are hiding in the United States. Attorney General Pam Bondi dodges key questions on US strikes in Venezuelan waters. As warships and F-35s gather, analysts ask, is President Trump preparing a major move against Nicolás Maduro? The clock is ticking. Venezuela's President Nicolás Maduro has accused the United States of harboring individuals allegedly involved in planning an attack on the US Embassy in Caracas. In a national broadcast on October 7th, Maduro said those responsible are inside the United States and that their identities are already known to Washington. He claimed his government had previously warned US authorities about what he described as a planned false flag operation, an attack meant to appear as if it were carried out by another group.
Yesterday at 3:00 p.m., through Ambassador McNamara in Bogota, Deputy Jorge Rodriguez, head of the Venezuelan peace delegation, officially informed Mr. McNamara and the United States government, as well as through other channels of communication, of the names, surnames, and locations in the United States of the individuals who prepared the frustrated and failed attack against the headquarters of their embassy in Caracas. The United States government, through the Department of State and other channels, has the complete information. The terrorists who planned the failed attack on your embassy, which was planned for Sunday night or Monday as an incident to escalate violence, are in the United States of America, and you have their names, so do not play dumb.
The Venezuelan leader said his government was alerted by 2 independent sources, one domestic and one international, prompting security forces to reinforce the US Embassy compound in the capital.
They are reporting that they do not have diplomatic relations with us, nor do we with you. They say they have no diplomatic channels with us, nor do we with you. We have some means of communication. Well, we do. Until we don't, and the day we don't, then we don't have it, period. Life does not depend on you. Venezuela does not depend on you, gringos. Venezuela depends on its own efforts, on its own love, on its own people.
He added that a European embassy had also been warned, though he did not specify which one. Maduro said the names, surnames, and locations of the suspects had been provided to the US government earlier this week. He also downplayed the importance of diplomatic relations with Washington, noting that the 2 countries have had no formal ties since 2019, when US diplomats withdrew from Venezuela. The remarks come amid renewed tensions between Caracas and Washington, following reports that President Donald Trump has halted efforts to reopen diplomatic channels. According to US officials, Trump instructed his special envoy Richard Grenell to end all outreach to the Maduro government. Relations between the 2 nations remain fraught as both sides trade accusations, Caracas of US interference and Washington of Venezuelan corruption and narcotics trafficking. Attorney General Pam Bondi appeared before the Senate Judiciary Committee on October 8th for her first testimony since her confirmation, facing a wide-ranging set of questions from lawmakers. During the nearly 5-hour hearing, Bondi was pressed on several sensitive topics, including her potential discussions with the White House regarding investigations into President Trump's political adversaries, such as former FBI Director James Comey. She declined to comment directly on these inquiries, noting that some events predated her tenure as Attorney General. One of the most closely watched exchanges involved the recent US strikes on boats reportedly carrying drugs off Venezuela's coast. When asked by Senator Chris Coons about the legal justification for these operations, Bondi declined to discuss any advice her department may have issued at the direction of the president.
The government's asserting the authority to summarily kill people. It says our cartel members through military strikes against boats on the open ocean in the Caribbean. Congress has never authorized such a use of military force, and it's unclear to me how the administration has concluded that these strikes are legal. I'm concerned with what the limiting principle is, whether the government could summarily kill people. It just declares our cartel members as well as unlawful combatants inside the United States, or if they were American citizens. This isn't about defending cartels. These aren't hypothetical questions. President Trump assembled military leaders and said they would be needed to fight the enemy from within and to train in cities in the United States that he describes as chaotic and violent. Due process is the cornerstone of our Constitution. I'm deeply concerned about the authority our president seems to be asserting to summarily kill people suspected of criminal activity outside the law. As the chief lawyer for our federal government, you have a unique responsibility to ensure maintenance of our constitutional standards. How did you conclude that these strikes on ships or boats in the open ocean are legal?
Senator Coons, I'm not going to discuss any legal advice that my department may or may not have given or issued at the direction of the president on this matter. Regarding Venezuela, what I can tell you is Maduro is a narco-terrorist, and I announced $50 million reward for his capture to bring him to this country to face charges. He is currently under indictment in our country. Drugs coming from Venezuela are killing our children at record levels.
The hearing also featured a heated back and forth with Senator Adam Schiff over the now-closed investigation into border czar Tom Homan. Bondi repeatedly declined to answer questions about alleged cash exchanges involving Homan, emphasizing that a review had found no evidence of criminal activity and highlighting her criticism of Schiff's prior congressional actions. As the session concluded, Bondi defended the administration's broader law enforcement and immigration efforts, emphasizing the importance of public safety and maintaining support for the president's policy agenda. The hearing closed after nearly 5 hours, with Democrats continuing to press for greater transparency and accountability from the Justice Department. The recent US strikes in the Caribbean aimed at alleged Venezuelan drug traffickers have raised a pressing question. Is President Donald Trump planning something larger against Nicolás Maduro? Last week, Trump told Congress the United States is in armed conflict with drug cartels, providing legal justification for at least 4 naval strikes in international waters that have killed over 20 people. Reports suggest a Justice Department memo may authorize the use of US agencies, including the CIA, against Maduro's government. Attorney General Pam Bondi, testifying before Congress, declined to confirm the memo's existence, but called Maduro a narco-terrorist under indictment with a $50 million bounty on his head. Analysts say the deployment of F-35 warplanes to Puerto Rico, alongside US warships carrying Marines near Venezuela, points to a potential escalation. Caracas has responded by placing its military on high alert and mobilizing citizen militias. Experts, including former Deputy Assistant Secretary Frank Mora, suggest that these moves may go beyond counter-narcotics operations, signaling the possibility of a targeted strike or broader action against Maduro. While the White House has rejected dialogue, the Trump administration faces growing scrutiny from lawmakers. Ultimately, the next steps depend on the president, with options ranging from military escalation to strategic negotiations still uncertain.